Hey guys, welcome back to another episode on the Mindful Chiropractor podcast. Excited to have you here. And this week, I want to tap on a little bit more or tack on what I was talking about last episode when it came to AI niche and all those marketing stuff. I want to dive a little deeper as I had some chiropractors reach out and say, hey, I'd love to learn more, or what is something you've done? And I thought, hey, let me get a little more specific to some of these things to help to level up. And that's kind of the concepts of what we'll be talking about. Before I dive into all of that, I want to let you know that we do have a free Facebook group and a LinkedIn group page for specifically only for chiropractors. Now, there's a lot of chiropractic groups out there, but this is strictly only chiropractors. I get probably at least 20 to 40 different requests from people who are trying to sell to chiropractors, who aren't chiropractors, and I delete them. It's only chiropractors. That is it. No one else is allowed in these groups. So you can check out the links below in the show notes. I have one for Facebook and I have one for LinkedIn. I do both. Now, this is designed for chiropractors who want to shift their mindset, break the subconscious blocks that hold them back, and really to achieve fulfillment in practice and in life. If that sounds like you, this is where it's all about. We help teach you how to unleash that potential of massive success and so much more through working on you, the individual, because that's where everything all starts from. And so you can check that out there. So in today's episode, it's all about how to really unlock digital success because we live in a digital world today. And if you're not out marketing yourself, your practice, what ends up happening is you're letting the marketplace dictate who you are. And you don't want that. Because let's face it, what does the public see us as? Oh, we crack people's backs. When I have back pain or neck pain or maybe even headaches, that's when I go to a chiropractor. But other than that, that's all chiropractors do. And if I go to a chiropractor, I just want to be treated for the pain and nothing else. That's what the marketplace thinks of us based on the media. But I'm not going to just blame the media. I blame chiropractors too. Because what are we saying in our communities of what we do? And if this is what you share and and you're happy with that, then that's all good. But it's up to us to educate and share it to our patients and our community. And how are we educating them? Again, if we don't dictate and say what we do into the marketplace will dictate us. So, what are ways that we can expand and educate our community, empower our community, and what are some of the things that we can utilize in that process? Well, one is you got to have a strong digital foundation. Okay, you want to have a solid foundation. Now, these are simple things. I've talked about this before, but if you are not utilizing Google, you need to be using Google. You can use Bing and other ones too, but Google is a big one. And you want to make sure that you have a Google Place, I think it's called, or your Google Business. I forget what the name of it is, but it's one of the things where you want to be able to be searched on Google and have your page come up there. Choose wonderful, good pictures. Okay, nice pictures. You want your people to share also, but you want to have the quality pictures that you want people to be seeing. And there's a brand recognition to this. There's a way of what you want to see. What's the market and niche that you focus on the most? Those are all those other things that go into. There's a lot deeper than just doing this. But in this episode, I want to keep it simple for you. So it's looking at what is those principles that you want people to see and showcase, and you do that for photos. The other thing you want to have, everyone's about SEO, which, I'm, even for myself, as much as I know tech, I refer that out to have someone do my SEO. That way I can searchable, people can find me. It's a lot easier in that way. So that's another aspect you want to make sure you have when it comes to that. But the other thing is getting Google reviews. I mean, let's face it, the way things are nowadays and the way tech is going, is the more you use the platform, the more they're going to get reward for. It's how social media works. The more you're on like Instagram and you're on there and you're commenting, you're liking people's stuff, you're watching reels and all that, your stuff will get more populated and show more. Same thing with like, if you have an iPhone, you have a Mac, it's all going to interconnect and it's all make it nice and easy for your life. Same thing if you have an Android with Windows, all that stuff. So these are designed for specific reasons. And so Google and these review places now are giving people more props if they go and do reviews on there. So you want to be able to utilize that, have a campaign. It's not just go asking patients and just hope people sign up for reviews. You want to have a system and a campaign and a systematic approach of how you do these things. Everything needs to be based on a system and an approach. And if we're not doing that, then you're just hoping that everything works. It's just like people who go on social media and just put information out there and they're just hoping that someone likes it. That's not going to be a good builder for success. And let's face it, in today's world, there is a lot more people pushing content out there, and it's so much easier. I've already talked about why in my last episode, but I'm going to dive a little deeper into here. And this is where social media comes in, because how is your social media? What are you showing in your social media? Right? What's your market niche? What's the niche that you're looking at? What's the target ideal patients that you want to serve? Is your social media reflecting that? Or are you just sharing a whole abundance of information and it's not aligned or specific to what it is that you want to have for specific clients that you want to serve? You're starting to see a theme already, what I'm talking about. And so it's looking at, are you doing consistent reels? What's the reels that you're showing up? What platform are you using? Because it doesn't have to be just Facebook, or it doesn't have to be just Instagram, but I always say master one first and then get on to the others, because each one has different algorithms, has different things to, ways to optimize, right? Like you just don't throw an image up on all of them and then with some posts and that's it. Image size for different ones plays a different role, different things. If you want to look at that, then there's also covers for the reels, stories, then you have your posts, all these different things. But the point of what I'm trying to bring is not about that. It's about the content creation strategy. Do you have a systematic approach of how you're doing things? Do you have a certain way? Let's say you're going to have like a workshop or something along that lines, and you're looking at ways to, whatever maybe it's going to be in a couple of weeks. Are you putting stories and reels and stuff in certain ways? So you're marketing the workshop. It's not just saying, hey, I'm going to be talking about thyroid issues and how chiropractic can benefit that and some nutrition to help support that. Check us out. We're going to have it on this date, blah, blah, blah. And that's it, which I see a lot of times being done. That's not going to get, where's the hook? Where's the attention grab? Where's all that? Unfortunately, we have to do these things. I'm not a fan of them, but we have to do them because people are very distracted in today's world. You're going to say our attention spans are getting less and less and less. So we're not hyper focused. So the key then becomes, how do we become hyper focused? How are the things that we can do in our life to help us, be able to hook, pull, grab their attention, and then have them listen? And there's ways to do that. There's an art to it. And it's more than just this episode. It takes a little bit to get that down. But what is the strategies? When you're posting, how are you posting? Are you trying to grab people's attention? What's that market you're focusing on? What's the things you're sharing most of the time? What are the things that you're going to show yourself as being an expert in? Because that's the main thing of why you're sharing information to your social media, is to show people, because people are going to check you out. They're going to go to your website. They're going to see, he's on Facebook. He or she's on Instagram. Let me go see their stuff. Oh, they're on TikTok. Let me go see their stuff. This is the norm now, where people can actually, and it's, to me, I think it's even better because they can get to know you better before they even come to your office, which is great. And you can use this as a marketing pull because it's always there. It's always available. People can always go and check these things out. Doing those two things will lead you to the third part, which is establishing authority, being an expert in what you do. This is kind of critical because people start to listen to you, they start to follow you, and you start to share more and more information that they go, wow, I really like what this person says. Man, they said this one last week and it was just so great. I actually tried it and it worked. And then next week they're like, oh my goodness, and here now they shared something else that I really liked, and it was just something they start to have an affinity towards you because of what you're sharing. And so it comes out to being one of those things where it's those attributes that you can utilize. And this is the importance behind it, because then all of a sudden they come into your office, they've been following you for maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. And then you're like, they go ahead and they're like, yeah, I want to sign up. I've been following you. I love what you talk about. And I love everything that you share. And that's the rapport building that happens. And this takes some time. Everyone wants to talk about instant success and blowing up really quick. I always believe the faster you blow up, the faster it goes away. It's slow and steady wins the race every single time. And when we can be slow and steady, what will happen is that creates a lot of long-term growth. And you get to learn things along the way that you can perfect and work kinks out a lot better, to where when it's just blowing up really quick, there's not a lot of time for processing. It's more for, oh my goodness, how do I keep holding on to the scaling and growing and expanding? That's why you see businesses overhire and then they lay off thousands upon thousands of people. You see this often. We just saw this through the pandemic, where businesses that were thriving kept hiring like crazy. And then a couple of years later, they're firing like crazy, right? Instead, it's just part of the process. Instead, it's all about slow and steady wins the race. And so when you become that authority figure, when you become that expert that people seek to more, now all of a sudden you don't have to worry about new patients as much. Now all of a sudden you're not trying to fight, because what happens in our profession is 95, 90, maybe 97, I would say 95% of the time, chiropractors are all fighting for the same thing. We're the top 3% chiropractors, 2% chiropractors. They're the ones running the show. They're the ones that never have to worry about new patients. I know that because I was one of those where I never had to worry about new patients. They just flowed. I didn't have 1,000 a week practice. I didn't want that. What I cared about is being paid my worth, being paid my time, and serving as many people as I possibly can with that. And what was interesting is I never worried about new patients flowing into my office. We didn't get 40, 50, 60 new patients a month. I think the highest I ever saw in a 12-year career was like 24 or 25. Yeah, not a lot, not a bragging right there. I average around 10 to 12, but I'm all good with that. But some people say, well, that's you can't really grow a practice like that. Well, yeah, you can. I mean, when you know your numbers and you know how to play the numbers, 98% conversion rates. So out of every 100 people that came into my office, only 2 would it in the last couple of years. This was the last 2 years specifically. And from that, all of a sudden where I have retention rates in the first, let's say 3 months at 80 something percent, that's a high percentage, right? 80 something percent. How many people go into wellness? All these different metrics that I had, they're very strong. What that was is I started to focus instead of my short game of like, I saw this many new patients this month, this and that. That's a short game, right? That's not a practice builder. I started focusing on how can I build long-term, and it's an investment and it takes time. I made a change in my practice from 2016 to 2017 to shift to pediatrics, be strict on my care, and be holistic focused, and lead by that. And what was interesting about the whole process is that what ended up happening is it took me. I wasn't the pediatric leader of my community within 6 months. Patient volume wise, yeah, it blew up. We went from 5% to 48%. But to be that leader, that go-to person, it took about a year to build those relationships with different partnerships I had with midwives and lactation consultants and doulas and all those pelvic floor specialists and so forth that I utilized a lot. It took some time to build those relationships. And so, but there came a point where all of a sudden, 2018, I'm the pediatric guy that people go to. You have a kid issue, go see this guy. And I'll never forget, I had different moms coming to me from all around, and it's such an amazing journey and process, but it took time. And that's what I'm trying to tell you is this: social media is not a short game growth. It's long term. Building SEO and all that will get you ranks, but it's going to take some time. Build up those reviews. It's, when you be looking at, when it comes to the review side, some people just care about getting a review. They don't care. It's like, oh, he helped me with my back pain. Great, recommend. If you like those type of reviews and all you care about is the number of reviews you have, that's great. But let me tell you, people are going to reread those reviews. At one point, I had up to about 80, 90 cent reviews. Not crazy, not for right practice. I mean, for right practice, I was double the closest person to me. So, but here's what's interesting about reviews, and this is why I care about heartfelt reviews. People would read my reviews. They come in our office on day one. They meet me. When I'm in the consult, they'll go, if they bring up a review, they'll go, I've noticed about your reviews, there's a theme to them. I'm like, okay, what's that? And they'll go, I noticed that like when people share, it's like heartfelt. It's not just like, oh, you helped me with this one thing, thank you. It's like there's a story behind it. They share their story. They share what they went through, this and that. They go, I want to have that story for me. I want to be able to say like so-and-so. Sometimes they'll even point out a review of what that person went through and what they were struggling with and all these other, how it affected their life and what all this stuff. And then with the journey working with you and all this other things, how their life totally changed. They go, I want that. And they're getting emotional. And right there, I'm already be able to build a rapport. I can connect to their why and be able to help them thrive in what they're doing. So why am I sharing that? You got to be crystal clear on what you want. You can't just go do these things. This is why in my coaching business, I always tell my clients, you need to have a vision and a focus. You have to know why you exist and what your sole purpose is. And what's the vision and the purpose? And when I work with chiropractors specifically, I say the same thing, but I get deeper. Why are you a chiropractor? What's the purpose of being a chiropractor? How are you helping the profession overall? How are you sharing the beautiful art of chiropractic to the public? And how are you serving what it means for you? Like hyper specific questions, because let's face it, if you don't have those things figured out first, none of the stuff that I just shared with you mattered. You're going to be all over the place because we know, and it's a universal law that states that when you have incongruences, you're not in a state of flow. Incongruence creates resistance. Anytime we have resistance with anything, you're not going to attract what it is you want. You're going to have struggle. You're going to have burnout. You're going to think you have to work harder and grind. I talk to new docs and they're all like, yeah, I'm doing this, and I'm grinding. Yeah, I'm hitting my numbers. I'm getting there. And it's just like, yeah, but you're losing out. And I know that because I did that for the first 5 years. I had my financial peak in 5 years. And I was burned out every 4 to 6 months. I was doing everything I was supposed. Every guru who speaks in stages and all that stuff in our profession and outside our profession, I was doing what they said. And yeah, I got there, but I was burned out. Man, it took me a couple years to reset myself and so forth and get my energy and my mind and my body and everything back to normal. And it's one of those things where there's another way of doing things. And if you want to learn the new way of doing things, not the old constructs, the old paradigms, there is a new way of doing business. There's a new way of doing those kind of things. Let's have a conversation. I got some information below you can check out. I have an ebook for the 10 mistakes chiropractors make. Check that out. And also, if you sound like you're looking for a coach, or you're looking for someone to help guide you, to help you level up in your business, but and in your life and create true fulfillment, that's what I do. That's what I specialize in. And so if this sounds like you, let's have a conversation. Call with drvic.com or go down to the bottom of the show notes and you'll see it there. But that's what I got for you guys today. I hope this dives deep into some of these elements to help you in your practice, to help you elevate what you do and so much more. So SEO, Google, Bing, whatever, reviews. Work on the website. Make sure you have a strong, good website. Make sure on the Google Places or Google Business site that you have images that relate to what you do. Make sure that you're representing yourself. People are going to see those. When it comes to social media, strategy is going to be the key. It doesn't matter. You can use AI like crazy now. AI can make your monthly content. It can give you ideas for the whole entire month, and you just have to generate. You can use them to generate posts. You can use them to generate all these different things. And then the last part is, as you do this work and you're very hyper specific and you have a strategy and everything's in alignment, just like our body, when it's in alignment, everything works more at ease. Same thing here. When everything's in alignment, things work more at ease. And all of a sudden you build yourself to be an authority for what you do as a chiropractor. So get at it. If you need help, let me know. Appreciate you guys. See you all next time.